Hello, hello, MouseHunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday. It is November 24, 2017. How's everybody in the chat doing? So we have a few people hanging out. Oh, look at that. A bunch of people all just joined now. Looks like we have 20-ish or so people. Oh, some more people coming in. Hello. Hope everyone's doing well. Well, like I said, it is November 24, which means December is just around the corner. And that means that the Winter Hunt Advent Calendar will be returning soon. Just like in years past, each door of the calendar has an event chocolate, and you'll open a door, or if you open a door on the same day, which it unlocks, you'll get a bonus item. Now, the bonus items this year are different from last year's items, so make sure you check back each day to see what you get. But we've refreshed the items yet again. There'll be some old familiar favorite maybe as bonus items, but they might be behind different doors. Updated it. I think there is some stuff for MouseHunt and some of the new areas as well. You might find some different items. Hello, hello. I mean some more hellos in the chat. Hello back at you. I can shift over here. I have a whole bunch of stuff going on here. There's some festiveness over on the far side. Tim says he's excited to watch because it's your day off. Well, welcome. Glad you're excited. MouseHunt stuff. Some excitement in the chat. Skippo says Lightning Slayer rewards are pretty pants. Sorry, but not true. Not worth the cost of purchase and the hard work for completing it. Well, that was a challenge we had with the Slayer maps in general. For a long time, people wanted a boss-only map. But we struggled to think of a reward that would be suiting for such a difficult map. The lightning maps, they are basically the equivalent of an elaborate Slayer map. So you get the Bait Keep charms. Instead of Super Breather, you get Glowing Gruyere, as well as Dragonbane charms are a unique reward. And the aura is slightly different. We ended up going with 2 auras instead of 1. Instead of the lightning map giving you the Slayer aura, we went with it giving you a lightning aura because we felt like it maybe took away a little bit from Slayer maps. And so the added actually made both Slayer and lightning a little bit more valuable, that you could stack the auras on top of one another. And it gave good reason to, or good desire to do both. But certainly subjective, so I take that feedback. But we've had other feedback that people enjoy the rewards as well, so it might just be a matter of choosing what you want to do with your teeth and your dragon scales, whether you want to do lightning maps with them, or whether you want to sell them on the marketplace if you think the gold is a more valuable use for that resource. They're harder than arduous slayers. Well, we pretty well copy and pasted the mice. That said, there's a few mice that you are, or there's a smaller pool that you're guaranteed, so there may be slightly harder because you can get the Eclipse mouse, so you may want to hold on to some tier 8 cheese. That said, in Fulmina's gift and Fulmina in general, you can also find tier 8 cheese, so the rewards are maybe slightly dialed up above what you'd find in a Slayer map as well. Shattering bosses inside. You can find the Shattering Mice as well on Slayer maps, so that's not new to this sort of boss-themed map. That said, I think there's a little greater variety. You may find any one of the Shattering Mice, but you'll never have more than one of them, whereas on Slayer maps, I think you can only find the Living Garden one. You won't have to go to the Cursed City or the Sand Dunes. But certainly subjective. It's a choice that every player gets to make, decide whether they think the rewards are worth using their teeth for, or if they'd rather sell their teeth on the marketplace, if that's a better use for them. Or maybe you're, again, dragon scales. You can purchase teeth with dragon scales, and you might think, well, the dragon or the scales I want to buy fuel because I'm most interested in earning king's crowns, or trying to get hundreds or over 1,000 catches of Fulmina. Then there's different avenues, and I think different players will have different answers to the best use of that resource. Derek says he doesn't think the elaborate slayers have shattering mice. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure they do. Or at least just one of them. Although my IDE is incredibly slow to load, especially with the streaming software running at the same time. Let's check this out. Where are we going here? Treasure maps. And I think that is called this. Okay. No. Where are you? I heard US. Twisted carbines there. Retired Minotaur. This is a big list of mice to look through here. Carmine, King Grub, Cursed Librarian, Twisted Carmine. Twisted Carmine. See, no, I thought there were shattering mice on there. Maybe there are not. Monster of the Meteor. I will say I did notice there was an error where the what's the name? The Heart of the Meteor mice could appear on Slayer maps, which was definitely not intended. That has since been removed because it doesn't really make sense. Because if you don't have the supplies to go and find one, you have to do a map in order to get the supplies, and you're already on a map, so you won't be able to get those supplies. So the Heart of the Meteor has since been removed, but that was a rather rare encounter anyway on the Slayer maps. But maybe we'll update then the lightning maps. Would you like to see, what sort of mice would you not like to see on the lightning maps? What sort of mice would you, or have you enjoyed hunting on the lightning maps? The shattering mice and the magmatic golem need to be taken out. Can we update the rewards instead? I think they're already pretty valuable. When you get a unique aura, there's a whole bunch of bait keep charms. You get 250 of probably the best sort of all-around hunting charm in the ultimate ancient charm. No golem, so there's no love for that magmatic golem. And there's some chat as well. I have a few things that we're going to talk about above me here, and we'll get to the donation or the purchase interface in a bit. Only 10 bait keep arduous slayers have that. Well, they also have a little bit more. You also get a power bonus aura and the Fulmina's gifts as well as bonus loot. So they have a little bit more reward as well. It's not just the bait keeps. But definitely don't want an avenue where there's sort of unlimited bait keep charms. They are sort of the ultimate, or one of the very difficult to acquire rewards out there. Now the cost of the map in terms of teeth, I think it's important to remember as well that you can purchase teeth with dragon scales. And when you get really set up, you get on average more than 1 dragon scale per hunt once you kind of get up and running. And so the cost of that map is roughly balanced with the amount of time it would take you to go and try and find a Slayer map. Now the feedback that we had, if you want to do a Slayer map, it's kind of frustrating and very difficult to go and find one because there's a lot of RNG involved. You might go, you might get 2 of them back to back, or you might go 6 months and never see one, which is very kind of frustrating and streaky. And so the idea with the dragon scale and the teeth cost is that there's a way to spend about the same amount of time and still build your way up to eventually earn that without having to rely on random drops. Hey there, Brian. How's it going?
Is it working?
Very good. Is what working? Yeah. Internet's working fine.
You're on the slower policy, and I think you were.
Oh yeah.
Is MHMB.
It's called D-Book.
D-Book. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I probably didn't put you on. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All
I was
right.
just making sure it's working. This there's a media thing.
Hello, how are you?
Sorry to interrupt this fine-looking gentleman's stream. Hi, Eileen. How are you doing? Yeah, yeah. Morning, Laura, Ryan, and Patricia. My name is Brian. Ben, nice to say how's it. Hello, Maz. How you doing? Anyway, sorry. I'm gonna let Dave get back to looking pretty and telling you what's happening in MouseHunt. So, morning, Tim. The one thing I wanted to say is I always no, maybe I shouldn't say that. I won't say that. Okay. Anyway,
All right.
nice
well,
to see you guys. And if some of you are going to the meet in London, yeah, some of us will be there. So we hope to see you there. Encourage Dave to come. I'm trying to get him to come.
Oh yeah. We'll see. All right, I'm interested too when it comes to lightning versus slayer. What makes the lightning feel like an appropriate reward, or sorry, what makes the slayer feel like an appropriate reward as opposed to the lightning? What kind of makes them feel like they need a larger reward? Uh-oh, my chat just blanked out. Come on, chat, you can do it. I believe in you. Let me refresh it. Oh, no. There we go. Lightning requires more effort than a slayer. Okay. Do you think it could be because when you open up a lightning, you get something that's more on par with one of the elaborate slayers, well as when you open up a slayer scroll, you may find one of the easy, medium, or hard, which they feel obviously much more of a simple map. They take you to low-level areas, whereas because the lightning scroll is behind a Grand Duke requirement, kind of didn't make sense that it would take you down to go get Captain Croissant or something like that. Plus 5 luck helps more than compared to a 25% bonus. Okay, that's interesting with the aura. It does sort of depend. Typically, the more difficult to capture mice, they're a little bit more affected by power than luck. So it is a little bit more geared towards capturing more powerful mice. But it's definitely hard to quantify 5 luck versus 25% power. Definitely it depends on the trap you're using as well. If you don't have the greatest trap, 5 luck is rather good. Whereas if you have a very powerful trap, because power bonus is it multiplies your power. I was trying to say a word that I don't think I know how to pronounce. Then a very powerful trap becomes even more extremely powerful because it's a percentage bonus. Lightning took a lot to get working versus buying. How's the Slayer any easier to obtain? I'm kind of curious. 2,100 scales is a lot. That's roughly the cost, or the amount of time that it takes to find 2,000 scales is sort of roughly equivalent to the amount of time that it would take to go and gather up and hunt and obtain a Slayer scroll. That's kind of where that number came from. So to put it in other terms, if it was, say, a drop from Fulmina, it would be probably a 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 1,500 drop somewhere up there, right? So it would be so rare that you would never really see it, but there'd be people that have them that could invite you to them. And so the feedback we're trying to address when it came to Slayer maps was a way to more predictably earn one of these scrolls, earn a Slayer scroll by putting in a lot of time. If the relic cost is an issue as well, there's the Jade map scrolls. Don't know if you stocked up last time Ronza visit, but that might be a popular item next time she visits as well. You can do the Jade maps, and they reward, I believe, 20 relics every time you finish one. But they're definitely, it's a scroll maybe not meant, because it's something very high level, very difficult content. It isn't quite aimed at everyone in the game. And there's quite the diversity. There are people that have well over 10,000 ancient relics, and there are people who have under 100 ancient relics. And so it is definitely sort of balanced towards the higher end of people who have done a lot of hunting. Jade maps aren't easy at all, says Ryan. I don't think they're very difficult. At least they're relatively quick compared to some of the more difficult maps. And a Sky in the chat seems like her strategy is to pool resources amongst a closely knit group of map hunters to each donate a tooth. That was kind of why we also like to use a tooth rather than a straight scale cost, because although you have to need to be a tightly knit group, you need to trust one another, but you could share the teeth, right? Like whoever is going to become the map captain, people could send them teeth, but obviously you need to be a pretty tightly knit group to pull that off. Additionally, feedback we've had in terms of the RRSP gold that the Minotaur drops, and over time it becomes less valuable, and so a year or two down the road, people are asking, well, can we have a new use for the gold, or I wish it was worth more. And so the teeth cost of the maps adds a consumable use for the scroll, which will hopefully keep that as an exciting item to either earn or find as a loot drop as well going forward. Can we do something with RSP gold though, asks Ryan. I mean, nothing yet, but that's definitely very common feedback we get, and so it kind of shows, reading between the lines of that feedback is that valuable drops and valuable items are very exciting when used, properly. Obviously, if everything's valuable, then nothing's valuable, right? And the more things you have, the less special each one of those are. So this was a bit of an experiment to see how the teeth were received, and that might play into helping us form a way of adding a new use for the gold maybe in the future. Swift saying the teeth are RNG. Remember that you can purchase them with dragon scales, and so much like the sand dollars in the Sunken City, that is the sort of mechanic that's in place where the teeth are really rare to get as a drop. And in all honesty, kind of hoping that you get 3 as a drop is not the best strategy if you want 3 of them. And the better strategy is to, when you find one as a drop, it's like a nice lucky bonus, but really the scales that you're getting that are coming in slowly feed your ability to purchase a tooth once you have 600 scales. Similar with predatory processors. And so we've had mixed feedback where hunters like having that mechanic, that currency item, that you get a trickle of it as you go through the area, and that lets you buy the rare drop as a sort of fail-safe, or eventually, everyone can get one with enough time. But we've also kind of seen on the Facebook page and other feedback where hunters feel frustrated, like I still don't have a predatory processor, and I look at the person's inventory and they have 5,000 sand dollars, right? And so that might just be a feedback thing, or it might be the perception, well, I don't want to spend my sand dollars, I want to just keep stacking them up higher and higher, accumulating wealth. So it was kind of an interesting little perception. Jessica is happy with the lightning map, so a little bit of back and forth, but something we can talk over with the team and maybe find some tweaks to sort of compromise. Brian says, problem using scales for tooth and lightning maps is we use them for fireball fuel. Well, it's similar to the Sunken City where there's a cost to the water jet charms in terms of all the loot items that you're collecting there. So every time you buy water jet, it sort of sets you back a little bit further, and that's the resource management choice you have to make, right? Like, how much of this resource do I devote to fireball fuel? How much of it do I devote to earning teeth? And similar in the Sunken City, if you spend too many of your barnacles and your coral and the scales on water jet charms, then you don't have enough to make fishy fromage to replenish your oxygen. And so it's an interesting choice that you have to sort of manage those resources altogether. Thomas asks for more on the Marching Flame and their origin. Well, not too many plans to expand the warpath further. Definitely had mixed feedback in the last expansion of the warpath. All right, well, moving on to a couple other things I wanted to share, some of the things that we're working on here. As kind of hunters have noticed me being surrounded by a interface right now, and this is the new checkout interface. So Andrew's been hard at work for actually quite a while. He's spent an odd day or two when he's not working on a content release. So I don't want to say his spare time, but sort of his spare cycles here at work, he's been working on overhauling the checkout interface. So the main improvements that he's made to this interface is that they're organized by the environment, and there's a search functionality. So just in general, it is much easier to find what you're looking for. And you can kind of see above me, oh, look at this, I'm pointing the right way for once. The search box, and that'll bring up pretty well not pretty well, every single item that you can buy will come up in that type ahead search box. So that way when you show up and you know exactly what you want, you can just start typing the name of it to find it. Additionally, if you show up and you're not sure what you want, things are organized by environment, or region and then environment. So you can see in the screenshot that I've pulled up the Hollow Heights, and then there's a tab for the Fungal Cavern, Labyrinth, Zocor, and I think there's another MouseHunt tab that is cut off by the search box right now in the screenshot. There's a big All tab that just has every single item. There is a Super Breed tab, because that's certainly one of the more popular things people look for, and then the Featured as well, so usually a recent release or a good spot when we do, for instance, Relic Hunter season changing, and we have promotions on Rare Map Dust, they'll be in the Featured section there. Finally, a search box. Yay, that's great. Looks like some good feedback in the chat. I'll make sure Andrew knows that people are excited that this will be a little easier to use. I was hoping that would happen. Search function, very appreciated. It's definitely long overdue, and so it's nice to finally get around to making that interface a little easier to use. And it didn't seem so bad in the beginning of the game, but as time has gone on and more areas are released, the list of items was becoming very large, and I think a lot of people were using Control F to find things. So now you can actually just type in a search box, which is a little easier to use than the search functionality of your browser. Ryan asks, are Warpath Archer charms available for sale? Yes, they are, I believe so. All the super charms, you can purchase them because they are basically Super Breed. You can buy them from the shop for Magic Essence. Hubert says, I hear a hissing sound. That is the fan on my computer kicking on. Streaming software seems to be notorious for hogging system resources, as I've learned. So the checkout interface improvements, they will launch with the Advent calendar next week on Wednesday, November 22. Now that is to say as well, the Winter Advent calendar will be visible on, I have a whole bunch of wrong dates. I'm horrible with dates, aren't I? Wednesday, that is November 29th. Look at me just having completely wrong numbers written down. So this new checkout will be available, if all goes according to plan, next Wednesday. That's November 29th, as I just double-checked the calendar to find that I'm not making up dates. The Advent calendar is going to go live at the same time as this as well, next week on Wednesday. Now, obviously, you won't be able to open up a door on the Advent calendar, but it'll be live. You'll be able to view it, see the obscured image, see all the doors on it, and that way it's ready, it's available when, I think Friday is the first day of December, if I recall correctly. I may as well open up a calendar before I make, yes, there you go, Friday. So just past midnight UTC, you'll be able to open up the first door of the Advent calendar on December 1st. So for us here in Toronto, that is actually Thursday. I think it's 7 p.m. is when the UTC day changes over. Yeah, Michelle pointed out, that's probably Dave's laptop heating up, yeah. That was that hissing sound. Didn't realize that was loud enough. I suppose the mic is fairly close, actually, to the fan in the MacBook. Crystal Crucible comments in the chat. Well, definitely the tooth, this was a bit of an experiment to see how maps would do as a consumable use for some of those end-of-area items, those items that you get when you sort of complete an area, and there's only so much you can do with them, and then after that, they're just sort of nebulous. Now, the crucibles, you can also make charms, but I think a lot of hunters don't really like to make the ultimate spore charms because they're a little expensive to craft. Skippo asks, what's the difference between featured and environments? Well, featured will likely be kind of a splash page showing some of the new additions or in things that aren't necessarily related to environment. The example I gave earlier was when we do a new Season of the Relic Hunter and Gilded Scrolls are available, as well as the Rare Map Dust promotion. That would be under Featured, because it's not really a specific environment that it's related to. The environments as well, when you load that tab, or rather right above me there, you can, when you click See All Environments, you get a list of every environment in the game that you can click, and it takes you to a page. Now, that said, some of them are very repetitive, especially some of the lower level areas, because Super Breeze is really the main thing that you'd be looking to purchase to use there. Swift suggests make Crystal Crucible smashable in the minerals. I kind of like that suggestion. I don't know if we'll do it in the short term, but definitely that, along with shiny precious gold and a few of the other end game items or end of area items, is something we kind of want to add new uses for at some point, but no immediate plans. Yeah, buff animatronic bird. I have some stocked up. Well, that's exactly it, and that kind of is what we're trying with Fulmina's Teeth, right? Where eventually, 2 years from now, Fulmina's Teeth will not be a very exciting item to obtain anymore, much like animatronic birds and shiny precious gold. And so the maps add a consumable use for those teeth. Might also kind of, in long-term thinking, right now it feels like they're very valuable and you may not want to spend them on a map. But as a year passes and there's lots of more teeth and dragon scales in the economy, then spending those teeth on a map may also, that the perspective might be quite a bit different 6, 8, or 12 months down the road. So it's kind of long term. You have to keep that in mind as well. All right, finally, the Great Winter Hunt 2017 as well was the last thing that I wanted to share that we're working on. That's pretty well what the whole team is now focused on. It'll be coming in mid-December, probably Tuesday sometime around the middle of December if all goes according to plan. This year's event is themed around magical snowmen that you'll bring to life, and you'll send them off to any hunting location that you've unlocked to collect the loot rewards for you. And so that's sort of the interesting way that you're going to be able to choose what sort of area rewards that you want to collect. Now, you're making these magical snowmen that come to life, and the source of that magical snow is, of course, the festive comet, which will be crashing into Narnia on its annual collision course. This year, the comet's core is made of super tasty nougat, and it seems that while it was flying through space, it picked up several other festive layers to it. And so the adventure with the Great Winter Hunt involves you literally blasting your way through layers of the comet using dangerously overpowered festive crackers. I think there's a little bit more than just a little cap that blows up when you pull that cracker. So there's some highly explosive Christmas crackers, and you're going to use that to blast your way down through layers of the comet in search of its nougaty core. Because who doesn't like to dig deep into a treat and find nougat? Thomas asks, can we get widow webs with the snowmen? Little early to say anything with certainty, but doing the drop tables, I believe widow webs were on them at the moment, but obviously subject to play testing and balance as well. Is Arctic Aussie Oggo returning? Asks Skippo. There will be a new event cheese this year. That said, old event cheeses you can use to obtain the new event cheese. TNT crackers, LOL, says Laura. Glad you liked our humor there. You definitely don't want to mix that up, and like at your dining table, you don't want to put those crackers on the plate. Just the whole house could just be gone. Not to mention all your family at the same time. So use with caution. You're definitely going to want the snowmen to go up there and pull on those and use some their magic to protect them, perhaps. Brian asks about time split runes. Again, grain of salt, subject to balance and playtesting, but I believe those are on a drop table as well. Our teeth there, asks a shell and sticking out a tongue emote. Again, subject to playtesting, but yes, teeth are on the drop table. It's quite the doozy of a drop table, and actually this afternoon, that is my plan with Franco. We're going to split that up, and we're going to start doing the data entry of taking the spreadsheet. I think there's 700 rows in this massive drop table because there are 3 drop tables per every area in the game. There's kind of like a a not so great, a pretty good, and a good drop table for every single area in the game. That as you upgrade your snowmen, they can get access to better and better drop tables. And so that was a lot of drop tables that we have to now do data entry for. We'll see how far we get this afternoon. Ryan asks if frozen fromage is going to melt into nougat. No, I don't believe so. Frozen fromage turned into, not nougat, it was, can't think of the name of it. Nutmeg, that's it. It's like you put it in a latte or on eggnog. Nutmeg, that's it. Laura says she likes the drop table so far. Well, that's because people only asked about very valuable things, so that might give the impression the drop table is just teeth, time split runes, temporal shadow plates, yeah, you know. That's all that's on that drop table. Now, some comments in the chat. You're not going to go and hunt in other areas. For the Great Winter Hunt, we tend to not do the stockpile because it's a little bit of a larger event. You're gonna all come together. Also, it's kind of fun to meet up with all your friends all in a single area and all hunt together. So it'll all take place at the Festive Comet. And as you build out the snowmen, you actually send them out and they go and they hunt in the areas for you, or they scavenge for loot. They're not hunting for mice, but I guess they're scavenging for loot, and then they return back to the comet and you get to see what they found while they were away. Brian's asking for iodized salt and brined curds. There you go. There's the spirit. Those are definitely on the drop table as well, so there will be some exciting and some less than exciting items, but that is all part of the fun of a drop table. As I was saying, there are 3 drop tables for every area, and that might also be kind of an important thing that we'll get feedback on as well, especially when the event starts, is you can upgrade your snowmen to get access to better drop tables, and the better drop tables, they sort of do away with some of the less exciting items, but you get fewer rolls on the better drop tables, and so it's a way where you can get lucky on the drop tables, but as you make upgrades to your snowman, you know they're going to at least find one good thing when they come back, and so hopefully that's a good way to make RNG fun and exciting, but also ways to kind of put in effort to overcome it and still get some exciting things. Ranger asks if we could add toxic spill mice onto treasure maps. I believe, I'll have to double check, but I thought we did when we made it a permanent area, and if not, I believe the Menace is on lightning maps. That's definitely a special map. Oh, will the Great Winter Hunt be linked to the New Year event? We usually do a little New Year's phase of it. We've already started planning that a little bit, a way to tie in New Year's into the Great Winter Hunt event. So yes, and there's definitely some New Year's themed mice. We added a new one last year. I think it's fireworks themed, the Frightened Fireworks Mouse, so there'll be a way to encounter that mouse around New Year's this year again. New Forgotten Ellie Trap, don't want to get Crystal Crucible. It might be a little too early to go into the rewards. We're still sort of balancing play testing that a little bit, but needless to say, there will be a number of limited edition traps to earn during the event. Ryan asks, we can stay at the Comet and the snowmen go out on their own. That is correct. So you will hunt at the Festive Comet for the whole event, and the snowmen, you send them out to areas to go and scavenge for loot, but you don't need to actually go to that area yourself. That said, you do need to own the map piece and have the appropriate rank to go there. So if you have not unlocked Mausu Picchu or you're not a Grand Duke, then you cannot send a snowman to Mausu Picchu. Derek says, it is indeed a menace to have the Menace mouse on the map. Well, that mouse is living up to its name. What does the new base do? Well, it's a little early, but maybe a better question is, what would you like to see the new base do? I think maybe some hunters saw the new base on Feedback Friday. It is sort of evergreen themed. It's looking very festive. But what type will the Ellie traps be? What type of traps would you like to see? Actually, we had a post on the Facebook page, I think it was last week, or maybe even a little bit further back than that. But we were asking hunters what sort of rewards would you like to see from the Great Winter Hunt. Snowmen to Sandtail Desert, RIP. They're magical, though. They're made of magical snow, so they won't melt in the desert. At least not until they return, and then they may melt away and you'll build a new snowman. Sean actually that brought up an interesting point. Do something similar to the New Horizon trap. So last year that trap was a little too difficult to obtain. And so we actually a good question to ask hunters in the chat. Would you like to see something similar to the New Horizon trap this year that is easier to obtain, that has the exact same stats as the New Horizon trap? That was one potential reward we were looking over. Obviously not something New Year's based, something right built in from the start of Great Winter Hunt. Obviously making sure it's obtainable by completing the event, and that would then be an upgrade to the event horizon. Keep in mind you can smash your New Horizon, but it would have the exact same stats. So it's no better, no worse, but a way to obtain an arcane trap that has those stats this year. We have no, yes, yes, no, yes, 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 no, oh God, no, says somebody there. Yes, please. Yeah, yeah. I'm interested though if you're saying no, why do you think, or why are you not interested in that as a reward? Skipple says, what about those who already have it? Well, it'll have the exact same stats. By no means do you need to smash your New Horizon trap to make the, whatever this theoretical trap would be. It's not the New Horizon. It would be a different arcane trap with the exact same stats as that. So it would not be a limited edition trap returning. Definitely those who obtained it, they've been able to use now that arcane trap for a whole year. Not to mention it'll forever probably be a little bit more coveted than this theoretical trap. But if you haven't noticed, if you do have the New Horizon, you can use your Hunter's Hammer and you get back the intergalactic positioning chips and you get back Event Horizon trap parts. And so you can take it apart and put it together as much as you want. You can also use the Event Horizon parts to just recreate the Event Horizon. And so this theoretical new trap, there'd be an upgrade item that you would buy, that you'd earn through the event. And then you could take your Event Horizon, smash it, craft it with these items, and now you'd have a new arcane themed, or a new arcane trap that has the same stats as the New Horizon, but it's not the New Horizon trap. Please have mercy on the collectors. That is a fair point, collecting the traps. And I'm open to feedback there as well, but I feel like collecting the traps is a very extreme goal to set for oneself. So it's the above and beyond, and it is these little, or it is some of these endgame upgradable traps that make it that extra or extra sort of bragging rights accomplishment. The fact that not only do you need to find all the traps, but sometimes you need to own multiples of the traps to complete a whole collection. It's definitely why we don't emphasize it really too much in the game, where you need, collecting all the traps seems as a requirement rather than a very above and beyond goal that you would set for yourself. Maybe lower levels need something shadow or forgotten. Well, there's definitely going to be multiple limited edition traps, so there'd be more than one reward for the event. Yeah, Ryan says a little bit of variation. Yeah, it could maybe be more power than luck focused, or vice versa. This would put the effort hunters put in last year to a waste. I mean, that is a concern. That's something that we spoke about as well. That said, you've had 12 months of use of the best in-game arcane trap, so I think that's definitely very valuable, especially considering the Labyrinth being a newer area in the game that involves a little bit of arcane, and then Mousu Picchu as well, being, when Mousu Picchu showed up for the first time, arcane was very important for it as well. So I think that's provided some value for the last year. As well as if this trap did exist, then I think the New Horizon would still sort of be coveted. Like if I had the choice between using the new trap or keep using the New Horizon, if they had the same stats, I would keep using the New Horizon, right? Because it's sort of a little bit more of a coveted, more rare trap. Don't make it use another Event Horizon, please. Well, that's a bit of the issue if it's going to have stats that are similar to the New Horizon trap. It can't just be a trap that you get for free, because the amount of time it takes to build the current best in game arcane, or the amount of time it takes to build the event horizon, is longer than the winter hunt even lasts for. So there's really no way to have the trap as a direct reward from the event, because it sort of undermines the whole effort and time that it takes to complete the labyrinth. Derek says it makes limited edition pointless. Well, it would not be that trap. The actual limited edition trap does not return. So slightly different stats. I may also sort of address that feedback. How's it going?
It's pretty tense little unit right here. Oh no, Dave, hold on, let me fix him. So here we go. There we go.
Thanks.
Phew.
Ooh, that brain extraction was
Tense.
messy.
Messy. Hello, everybody. What's is it choir time, or are you still pre-choir?
We're about to get to the choir. You showed up in time for the choir. Choir. It's a difficult question,
Ooh,
but it is a question that is
choir.
easy to guess the answer to. You can formulate guesses in a somewhat constructive manner.
Numerical way. Okay.
So today's trivia question, maybe we'll go back, take all that. Watch out, large video feed coming through.
Large video.
Which year, and perhaps also what was the theme of the event that year? Which year saw the addition of the most Great Winter Hunt mice?
One fell swoop.
There's a lot of Great Winter Hunt mice.
There's a lot.
Yeah. I was reminded of that opening up a spreadsheet. That this is a lot of Winter Hunt mice.
2010, 2017.
No,
There's
not
many
2010.
many answers here too. You know.
Oh, 2017 would be an interesting answer, but no. 2012, Skippo. I think
Skippo.
Skippo has the answer correct. 2012 was the Greedy Owl event, and it added 9.
Oh, wait, I was going to say it's a
Event mice.
bonus.
Oh,
So you guessed the 9. Well, there you go. 9, the most in one event.
Can you guess? 9.
Nine.
I don't care if you can speak German. How many mice are there? Who's on first? Whoa.
9. 9 people are on first.
9 people are on first.
That's too many.
Is anyone on first? 9. I didn't ask how many people. Well, I guess. Okay, so there are people. 9. Ah, God.
Good jokes.
You're welcome.
So there you go. So I think the one before it, that one broke the record because not the previous year, but a previous event was 8. 8 were added, I believe.
I could double check that spreadsheet. I had them all organized by year. All right, and the reward, the R in quar.
Quar is. Quar
I was
is
just
ready.
double check.
Weird.
Got to see the typo.
I saw the typo.
So the link is in the chat. Let me see if I can get the link up here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Text. Yeah, man.
You can
All
do
right.
it.
You can do it.
The stream begins shortly. Reward. Punch. Oh, it's behind.
Nah, it just takes a bit to render for reasons unknown.
Oh, nice. Dude, nice. Oh, 2009 had 9 at my side
I
as
don't
well?
believe so.
Uh-oh.
No,
You got that
2009 had
big old
8.
spreadsheet going there.
I sure do. To the spreadsheet machine. It's already organized by year. So 2009, there were 9 mice, but technically the present mouse was released as part of the birthday event
it
that
came
year.
from a previous event.
So there were 8 mice in 2009.
If you count New Year's, yeah, that makes sense.
Fair enough, I am counting New Year's as part of the Great Winter Hunt, I suppose.
And Greedy Owl, though, well, even with New Year's counted, yeah, they both get their
But Greedy Owl was 9.
9, including a New Year's mouse.
And yeah, we did add the Disco Ball Head mouse came out that event as well.
Party Head?
Party Head mouse? Oh, Party Head mouse.
Oh, how come we didn't call it Disco Ball Head?
That's the type, I guess, Disco Ball Head. Change it to the Party Head.
You can, someone mentioned they wish to grab gift links linked to the MouseHuntGame.com instead of Facebook. Yeah. We linked to Facebook because then if you're logged into Facebook, you will be also logged into MouseHunt. But you can take that URL and slap it onto the end of MouseHuntGame.com, and it should also work.
I mean, ideally, a proxy or
Yeah, if something redirects, it gets
Yeah,
level
for
5.
technical reasons, we sort of have to decide which one that supports.
That is the one for it.
But
But yeah, if
they're-
you take everything after that question mark, or that big old string of madness, you can slap it onto the end of the other URL, and it should work as well.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Hi.
Take a knee.
Take a knee, son.
What is that an expression from?
It's like, hey, come over here, kids. Take a knee. Like the coach
Yeah.
is buffing
Oh,
up the
okay,
team.
yes, like sports.
Yeah,
That's what I was
yeah,
thinking of.
sports.
Yeah, take a knee.
All right.
So
take
could you
a knee.
say you're down on bended knee? Like,
Boys
can
to
we
Men.
go back to the time our love was strong?
Can we go back to the time our
Days.
love was strong?
Can you tell me how the perfect love goes wrong? Can't somebody tell me how to get things back the way they used to be?
Cool. That's good for.
And that's how these boys turned into
Two
men.
men. Two men. Two men. Just two men. You drop the boys because it's just two of them. Oh yeah, can we make
Yeah.
like a parody? Oh, a Boys to Men cover band. It's just us. We just call it Two Men.
It's two men.
Just
yeah.
two men. That would work. It's a good joke.
Subjective. Humor subjective.
Alright,
Alright, we're too large here.
too large.
I'm going back into the
I'm a
corner.
small man.
Alright, well. Was there anything else here in these notes?
I've taken a knee, but my knee hurts.
Your knee.
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna
They
take
need
a
knee pads. For doing like housework and stuff, I have like those knee pads that you use for tiling floors.
Oh yes, the little
Yeah.
like
It's
easy
useful
safe.
when you're like down, like under
Down
a
bending
sink
knee.
or something.
Yeah, because like this, when you're bent, you're like exposing that soft, juicy ligament.
Juicy ligament.
Don't eat it. Yeah, the cap isn't doing its job.
All right, well, my fan is on, making it hard to hear us yet again.
Two people
It's
freezing
heating up.
Still need the fan. Well,
It is my laptop fan,
Yes.
pumping out the massive amounts of heat that video encoding appears to take. So on that, my ears are bleeding. Well, perhaps we will wrap things up then, before my CPU fan decides to completely blow up. Thanks for joining us, Hunters. I think Jacob will see you next week for an art edition of Feedback Friday.
remember the joke illusion? Like, oh, hey Dave, look how small I am. Hey man.
Oh yeah, if we do like this.
Yeah, I'm just a really tiny guy.
So how you doing over there, Tiny Giorgio?
Pretty good, actually. How about you?
Large, I'm living large over here.
Oh man, you're huge. Jeez.
Thanks for joining us, Hunters. Happy hunting, and Jacob will see you next week.
Eat some turkey.
Eat some
If
turkey
you're doing it
if
today.
you want
We're
to,
gone.
but the mic is still open.
No, I think you disabled the mic, Dave.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. I probably
Probably disabled there.
Okay, it's
So
probably
you know
turned
that
off.
game MouseHuntGame.com/secret codes with a Z?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's such a great
Is it with a Z or a Z though?
Z.
A Z or a Z?
Z.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't have a thanks for watching little page here. So
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watch. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. All you do is to thanks you for to watching.
all you do is all you.
I like how we have our own MouseHunt soundtrack,
Yeah.
and then we still make another like version of it with just made up dumb lyrics on top of it. Just yeah, it's good.
Is that what the kids call meta?
Or like yeah, meta. Oh, there's
Wow.
another version of that song where it's like you're a little stinky mouse living in a stinky house. Because all of my mice they stink. They're not clean animals, but it's okay. They're cute. But not these mice. These mice are bad, evil. It's okay to trap them in horrible traps. It's okay.
What is it? So okay?
It's okay.
It's so okay.
Yes. Sing the Dora song. Dora.
Da da Dora.
Did it.
Da da Dora.
Where's the?
Da 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 Dora.
No, that's a different song, Dave. That's a Brady Dora.
No, wasn't it like Oscar Mayer Wieners or something?
No, there's a story. Of a lady.
right.
That's what you were just saying. You're thinking of.
I was like, what
I'm
kind
sure-
of kids? Oh, that's what.
I'm
yeah,
sure
that's a
we're
Simpsons
not
episode, actually. That
You're
guy.
just. My.
All right. Well, do you want me to turn this?
Oh, MouseHunt ASMR.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is MouseHunt, Giorgio here, Giorgio Dev MouseHunt. Thanks for watching the podcast review squad feedback Friday with Dave, your host, and Giorgio, the interrupting guy.
There you go. How was that?
Thanks for the.
Thanks for the
Updates, guys.
Updates, guys.
Oh,
You missed. How did you miss, Click?
I don't know.
You're like,
Trackpad is slippery.
it's like the that like a. Couldn't even do it. All right, bye.